think that every season. I think that whenever we get a new script, I think, and it's crazier. And how.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I agree. Every season, every script, every season, every scene, it seems like, there's something surprising and unexpected coming out. And this is no exception. I think that's one of the great things about doing this show is that, we're 3 seasons in and we can still look at the scripts and be surprised even though we kind of know what's coming. And I think it's great. It keeps it fresh and it means that the brain's trust behind the curtain is really strong and has a lot of ideas in the tank. So it bodes well for the future.
It ramps up. I mean, as you would expect, a full season to do. It starts to really, I don't know. I think episode 6 it really starts to go off the rails a bit. And so yeah, from 1 to 5 is incredible. And you kind of like, where could we go from here? And enter Herogasm.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, episode 6 is illegal in about 4 different countries, I found out. Like, we have to, cut out such huge chunks of it for it to be able to air. So, it gets crazy. But, I think the secret sauce of this show is we never really try to top ourselves. We're always about, how can we dig into the characters and how can we land them in a way that, really surprises people? Because we have such a deep bench of talent, Jensen and everybody else, and we know they can handle what we throw at them. So, I would say if it takes 4 weeks to break an episode, we spend 3.5 on character, and then we spend the last 2 or 3 days on the crazy.
There's really a lot of heart to this show. The superhero and the spectacle and the exploding heads aside, when you get down to it, the show has just a lot of heart and nuanced characters that's really fun to deep dive into and explore.
Well, it's an sort of an infamous event from the comics. It's not a spoiler to say that it's a giant superhero orgy. Anyone who knew the comics when they found out I was starting the boys from the very beginning, invariably the first comment out of their mouth was, "I dare you to do Herogasm." And
challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, challenge met. And I don't like to back down. So I waited until I had enough leverage and goodwill at Amazon to be able to pull this off. And it is. We do things very realistically on this show. So it was explicit. Jensen, I wasn't on set, thank God, which is why I can still sleep at night without being in fetal position. But Jensen will tell you what it was like.
Can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. It is. I have seen things, and I'll tell you just a funny experience of being on that set. Set dressing had put because of the nature of what was happening on the set. There were just big bottles of lube peppered around the set, but because it was COVID, there were also bottles of hand sanitizer peppered around the set. And you knew that someone had made a mistake that happened almost every 10 minutes when someone would just be like, oh! Thinking it was hand sanitizer and just getting a big palm of lube. Yeah, although some people probably wanted that.
Well, I just remember hearing from crew members, they were just outside ripping cigs, I've seen some things, they're coming back from war, and apparently I haven't seen anything and don't know too much about it, but the dailies were stuff of legend, stuff of folklore, the dailies were very insane, and I guess they got to shoot some things that, gave them PTSD, so.
Yeah. Which is what you want.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm lucky, I'm very prudish and sensitive. And I wasn't on set that day, and I'm glad hearing some of the stories that I wasn't there because I think I would have been scarred. There's not enough therapy in the world to heal me
From that episode.
had I been there.
I was elated to get to jump onto the show just because, being a part of a world that is created and curated by this guy before, that was what, almost 20 years ago, and so to come and work on something after he has been growing and adding to his incredible bag of tricks into a new and wild west of a world. I couldn't wait to get there and do my thing and allow him to exploit me in only ways that he can.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I hate working with Jensen, but he gives me half his salary, so it's just too good to pass.
It's
up.
cost me a lot of money to be on the show.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's worked out. No, it's such a nice homecoming, and it's such a treat to hear him read my dialogue again, and the shorthand we have and the comfort we have after being through so much together has just been really just easy and fun. It's sort of like coming home, It's just suddenly we pick up where we left off, and it's been really, really delightful.
Yeah, Soldier Boy is the original superhero that Vought kind of born and bred and branded way back in the day. So I guess he could be the old retired Homelander from days past. He arrives on scene and he is, I'd like to say he's an analog hero in a digital world, and he doesn't necessarily belong. He's a fish out of water, but doesn't matter to him because he's going to make waves regardless. And yeah, you're right. Homelander's going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I would say part of the fun of bringing in Soldier Boy this year was we wanted to give Homelander a hero that was as powerful as him, because he never really had an existential threat before. He's had threats to his reputation and his personality, but he's never had someone who could straight up murder him.
Yeah, I think one of the things about the show that really comes out in season 3 is just this very animalistic sense of hierarchy. At least that's one of the things that I focused on a lot this season. And Carl and I have always been opposite ends, almost like remember the movie Unbreakable? You've got Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson as Mr. Glass, and they're the opposite ends of the spectrum. I've always looked at Carl and myself in this show as those bookends. And then Mr. Jensen Ackles pokes his little head up into the middle of it. So it does make the whole season very spicy, and what we really want is we want to see the protagonist and antagonist, we really want to see them go at it. And so someone like Jensen coming into the mix really causes problems and challenges for both characters, which leads to some pretty entertaining stuff. No, I don't think. I think part of the fun is having someone on the show that you love to hate, and I don't think. I mean, I don't think there's. Certainly don't think there's any plan to try and redeem Homelander. And I think that would be a very tough job. But I also think it's there's tremendous value in having a character that's quite so despicable in the show, and he's a lot of fun to play.